Hi, so this is video log 8 and it is about my research presentation group and the dynamics of the group as well as the roles that I played within our group for the research presentation. So, my research group was Marie and Julie. The three of us are facilitating the intergroup dialogue class next semester, so we worked on our research project together. I think that our group worked really well. There wasn't too much, we didn't do any outside work really, besides each finding our own articles. And most of it was done in class, so it was really nice to have us all there at the same time, and there was no issue getting anybody there. It was also really great to have Becky and Andy on hand for any questions that we had. Within our group, the roles that each of us played, we just sort of collaborated on everything. I had the PowerPoint and all of our just planning and brainstorming written down or on the computer in my possession, but I think that of the three of us, I'm probably the type A that likes to have everything in my hands. So I kept up with everything, but pretty much everything was split three-way. All of the brainstorming occurred between the three of us, except for the one day that Marie was absent because she was really sick. We all finalized all of the slides. Each of us had a copy of the finished PowerPoint, and everybody found one article. I found two just because I'd already prepared from the last research presentation topic that we were supposed to have when we changed the groups and changed the requirements and everything. I had already found my articles, so they really nicely worked with our research questions, so I had to, but everybody did their part. Everybody was active. I think of the three of us, Julie is a little bit quieter, so we were just really conscious about asking her what she thought, but she was very vocal. Usually she spoke before Marie about what she thought of what we put on the slides or whatever. And we split the slides evenly during the presentation. I think that I was frustrated that we had to change up the whole research presentation requirements and groups because I'd already started working, but I do think that working within our groups for next year made more sense because we get to start building that relationship as a group. Not that we don't already have a relationship, but building it as a small group and also starting to really see the dynamics that are going to come out in the facilitation space. I think that it is much more practical that way. So I was glad that we got to work together, and specifically with Becky and Andy because they gave great feedback. And I'm excited to work with them next year. I was a little apprehensive about the type A, type B personalities because both of them are, I think both of them are type B. And I've worked with Marie. She was a co-facilitator with me last year, and in the space she is genius, and she's always on par. She's always dedicated and very focused, but outside of the dialogue she can be a little bit flaky, and so but she, fesses up to it completely, and she works really hard to get everything that she needs to get done. So I was just worried about having to coordinate everybody meeting outside of class and having to make sure that each of them has a role to play and everybody plays an equal role. And so I was glad that we got to do it in class because that kind of took a lot of extra planning and worry out of everything. But it also helped me just be more confident about next year because we aren't going to have to find time outside of class unless we want to, unless we need to process something that happened during the class and we just want to get a meal together. Otherwise, I really like that I like that we are meeting with Becky every week beforehand to talk about the class and to process and to really have that time together that is devoted to talking about the class but not in the class. I think that's going to be really, really helpful. And I think that all of us will bring a different identity and a different experience to the class, which is really great. I'm glad that we have split identities, so much so that with sexuality, all of us identify as female. However, with sexuality, Julie is heterosexual. I am non-heterosexual, and Marie is heteroflexible. So I just think it's so cool that we literally have a huge spectrum, and we'll really be able to bring that target agent identity sort of dynamic to the class. And I think that this research project, not only, it was fun to explore a question and to really go through that process of each of the steps and all of the questions to ask and the brainstorming that goes on and the narrowing down and the realization of limitations and of problems that could arise. And I think that it's a great and important process, especially being part of a creative inquiry. But I'm glad that we got to work within our groups for the following semester to really start building those dynamics and relationships that we're going to walk into next semester with. So I think that it was a great assignment, and I liked working with my group. I'm looking forward to working with them next semester while we are facilitators for our intergroup dialogue class. So this is the end of video log 8.